Okay, is there anybody signed up for public comments?
Anyone?
No.
Okay,
Anyone?
last call.
Feeling lonely out there?
Seeing no one, we'll move on to approval of common council meeting minutes from May 7th, 2019.
Make a motion to approve?
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. The minutes are approved. Item number 5, discussion and possible action regarding residential exterior improvement grant applications.
Through this round, if you want to call it that, of the Residential Exterior Improvement Program grant applications, we received 3 new applications. All 3 of those applications were reviewed by the CDA, and a favorable recommendation was forwarded to the council. And the application specifically for Mr. Michael Matkowski on 521 Hilltop Drive was also reviewed by the Joint Review Board. And that was forwarded with a favorable recommendation as well. And that was reviewed by the Joint Review Board because it's because of its location within a half mile of TIF 7. All of the applications meet the criteria of the program and are appropriate projects.
In the past, when we approved these, we just made one motion to approve all the applications as presented, if you're thinking about making a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve all of the grant applications as presented.
Second.
Is there any questions?
I have a question.
There's a motion and a second. Is there a second?
I seconded it already.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. And did you want to ask it now, or
Or I can wait till,
oh, you can ask?
okay. I just want a clarification. Someone asked me in the community, and I didn't honestly know the real exact answer. Is it almost every area of the community covered by these grants, Al? That was the question.
Almost, but not all, yes.
That's what I
Yeah.
wanted.
And there's a map available within the program guidelines, which are also available online
Okay.
through the city's website. Or, sometimes the easiest thing is just give me a call. If there's a question of, am I in the boundary or not?
I think that was the question.
Yep, just give me a call. It's easy for me to zoom in on the map, and it may not be easy for folks at home to do it. It's easy for me to do it.
That's what we did. I said, thank you. I kind of thought that was the answer, but I wanted to double check.
I have a question about Michael Matkowski's application. I was just wondering, is the patio door, was that actually part of the grant? Because I thought that wasn't supposed to be.
It was taken out from the CDA.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see on the attachment, the quotes that were provided included siding, labor, and a patio door. And the patio door was removed and classified as ineligible. It's on the attachments. So the total eligible project cost was $8,432.66, of which the grant will cover $4,216.33. So that's outlined in the packet.
Thank you.
Okay, can we move on to item number 6? Discussion and possible action regarding a council policy governing the sale of surplus property.
So this item was on the agenda back on April 16th. The staff brought it forward for council direction. And at the time, the council directed that staff create a policy that really outlines what the current practice is, but to put it in writing. So situations that may arise in the future that may not necessarily fit exactly what we had previously done is now codified in language. And that information is provided in the surplus property disposal policy. Again, this follows kind of the past practice of really looking at how the acquisition was originally funded, if it's going to be, if the sale of those dollars are going to be used to offset the purchase price of a new replacement property, or if the disposition is simply a disposition with no replacement. those funds that would then either return to the enterprise fund in which they were acquired, or be placed into the parks fund, which is what typically been done in the past. So this is really a matter of just basically putting in writing what we've always done in case Dan and I win the lottery and fly away.
Take us with you.
Sure.
Depends on how much we win.
So the policy goes a little bit further and provides kind of definition as well of what do we consider surplus property. So that Dan did a great job of putting this together and kind of making it a more full description of the situations. And hopefully there aren't situations that fall outside of this policy, but stranger things have happened.
I'll make the motion to recommend the approval of city of council policy number 5, governing the sales of surplus property.
Second?
There's a motion and a second. Any questions or anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Just one kind of piece of information for the council's understanding too. With the adoption of this policy, again, we've been executing this policy kind of as it's been written, but there are 2 very recent sales of surplus property that would fall under the funds being returned to the Parks Fund. So the Parks Fund now sits at about $78,000. Is that right, Dan?
There's
Sorry to put you on the spot.
about 50,000 that's
Oh,
unassigned.
Unassigned, yeah, okay.
And then there's another 20,000-ish of for Tower Hill, bike rack, and water tower park equipment, and some other park equipment.
That's all that's set aside.
Yep, that's what makes up the other 20.
That's cool.
Great.
Okay. Moving on. Discussion and possible action regarding an appointment to the library board committee.
So Mayor Welch has nominated Stephen Tupper to serve on the library board as a citizen representative. If approved, Mr. Tupper's term will run until 2022.
We never seem to have problems finding people for our library board, do we?
No, this time around we had 4 applications. So
I believe it. I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Tupper's term on the library board as a citizen representative.
I would second.
There's a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Discussion and direction regarding splash pad concession stand use application.
So as part of the 2019 budget process, as you may recall, one of the items that was removed that was in previous budgets was the operation of the concession stand at the splash pad. Although that was a nice amenity, unfortunately it was very sparingly used and oftentimes, or actually I shouldn't say often, every time, resulted in a net loss in the operational budget. So that item was removed from the 2019 budget. And part of those discussions, there was some kind of, talks about, well, maybe we can allow entities to utilize the concession stand as a fundraising mechanism, perhaps. So if show choir wanted to run the concession stand for a weekend, we would allow them to do that, and then they could, take the profits as a fundraising mechanism, or boys baseball, or Boy Scouts, or Girl Scouts, or whoever. Either the word of that concept got out or people came to the same conclusion we did. So we've received some requests already from different service groups who were interested in participating in that activity. So we've developed this concession stand splash pad concession stand use application. And we brought it forward tonight really just for the council's edification and to see if there's any comments or questions about it. This also did go to the Parks Committee last night, and they provided some feedback, and we made some minor modifications to it, which is what the paper copy is that Inga passed out before the meeting. So the one that's in the packet is different from the one that's that Inga provided you this afternoon. Inga, I don't know if you want to talk about what those differences are, or if that makes it easier. So I see you've got a red line copy here, but
Yeah, so all the changes are tracked in the document. I guess one of the big changes was on the initial application, we did not have a fee or a security deposit. The Parks and Recreation Commission felt that there should be a security deposit at least, just in case there is any damage. So we set that at, well, the commission set that at $100. I just added in some information about the splash pad, the operational hours. There was some discussion about not leaving product that's for sale in the concession stand when you're done using it. So if you have a group using it Tuesday night, they need to remove it Tuesday night so another group can use it Wednesday. Logistically, we're still trying to figure out how the concession stand is going to be rented, if it's going to be a group rents it for a week at a time, or every Tuesday for the summer someone has it. There's discussion on logistically how that's going to work out. So we're still trying to come up with those details. But I think that these additional things in there will make it a little bit easier. Also just wanted to add in making sure that people are cleaning the space after they use it, and making sure that people that are in the concession stand are actually with the organization that's renting it. So I think those are the changes then.
originally when we drafted the application, as you see kind of in the electronic version, we did not have a security deposit. The thought of that was, these service groups are hopefully community minded, and really we wouldn't hopefully have to worry about any damage. But the security deposit does, kind of cover us if that is the situation. The only concern being is, does the security deposit cause a cost prohibition, an upfront cost prohibition from a service group from renting it out, saying, hey, we don't have $100 to go make $12. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could be had either way. It might be a situation in which we try it. If we find out that we're consistently running into situations in which folks are losing their security deposit, then it probably makes sense that we've included it in there. Or if we find out that over time we hear from community groups that say, hey, we really like to do this, but can you waive the security deposit? If we hear a bunch of those, maybe we come back with a revision to that. Again, I could be had either way. It was just, that was the thought process that went into first not including it, but then including it in the second revision. And that, I think, was the Parks and Recreation's overall comments as well.
Yeah.
It's just a way of kind of protecting our facility.
Is the rental and the deposit for the community house still $100? Yes. Oh, okay. So it's the same as
But
that.
again, there's no rental fee for this. It's only a security deposit.
Okay.
So if they did everything right, they'd get that back when their time was done. But I think
And if they were doing it repeatedly throughout the summer, you would just keep that $100.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's what
Yeah.
what Parks and Rec talked about.
Okay.
Well, and I think it's good in the sense of inadvertent damage. I mean, things happen, things could break, unintentionally, but they break. And at least you have something then to cover some of that cost.
It is a kitchen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So again, we're not necessarily looking for any action, but if anybody has any strong feelings, one way or another, either
I think it's a good idea.
about the draft, you
think it's
certainly
used.
can make a motion.
It's a good idea. I think it allows it to be used rather than just sitting there.
I think some of the stuff is yet to be seen, the security deposit, whether people clean up after themselves, all of those kinds of things. So I think it's a good start to head into it, and then we reassess at the end of the summer and say, how did that work this year, and figure it out from there.
So does anybody want to make a motion to accept the final draft?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the motion carries. Now we just have a review of our April financial statements.
Nothing too exciting. Shows that we are 1/3 of the way through the year and we've spent about 1/3 of our budget. So nothing super exciting. If anyone has any specific questions.
If you were in Chicago, we might have some specific questions.
Oh, I'm sure you would.
We could fax them.
All right,
How big is the W flag?
It wasn't flying last night, so I wouldn't know.
It was upside down last night.
okay, any general items?
I would just like to take the time to thank all of the people that assisted with the Civil War Living History Days. While I was there, the 2 days that I was in there, I had so many compliments, not only of the company K, I also had compliments about Carrie, I had compliments about the city. I mean, the event in itself, this is one heck of an event, and if you have not been out for this event, then I highly recommend you make it next year. But always remember, and this is for our local businesses also, always remember it's the weekend before Memorial.
I would say attendance was up for that event too.
Any committee reports by anybody? What did Parks and Rec do?
Yeah, so we went over just the application. What else did we do? We did.
Veterans Park review?
Yeah, the veterans park. That looks like it's coming along good. It's gonna go to a planning commission, I think now.
Yep,
Right.
forward,
Yeah.
hopefully.
So hopefully we'll see that in upcoming next couple meetings. So yeah, pretty much it.
Any other committee reports? Tomorrow is Fire Commission.
No.
No?
It was, Fire Commission was last week. I'm looking through the notes again. There really isn't anything too profound to, there isn't.
Okay.
Business as usual.
Okay, any other committee reports? Staff reports. Howie?
Splash Park's open.
Oh, yeah!
It's one of the few times the water's warmer than the air, so.
80 degrees next day.
Yeah.
Gonna be the only time the water's probably warmer than the air. It's not gonna freeze the pipes tonight, is it? Dan, you're good?
Tomorrow's board of review.
Yeah.
No one submitted stuff by the deadline, but there was someone that filled out an objection form, so it's up to the board of review to decide if they want to hear it.
Okay. Chief?
Police Week wrapped up last week, and one of our initiatives was our brand new challenge coin, which I've given to each one of you. So thank you for your support as just a token of our appreciation. And we think it's kind of a cool initiative. So that's something that we're glad we finally got to do. And no taxpayer dollars were used for that. That was all done out of donation money. So I might have previewed for you that we're looking at some of our alcohol licensing policies in parks. We just had our very first meeting today on that, and we're going to start grinding through some of the policy language and see if there's some improvements that we can make. And last Wednesday was our human trafficking presentation in this room. It was pretty well attended. I was impressed with the crowd. They had some great questions. And we'll be happy to do it again because I think there was a lot of interest in it with people who weren't able to attend. And hopefully we can continue the conversation here in Milton about it.
I heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm sorry that I had to miss it to be in Madison, but yeah. Library.
We have a fundraiser tomorrow at Noodles from 4 to 8. So if you're hungry, stop by Noodles, and then you have to say that you're for the library for us to be able to get the benefits from that. So 4 to 8 tomorrow at Noodles.
Inga?
Just a reminder, the community recognition picnic is taking place on Thursday this week. The picnic will start at 5:30 and the program will start at 6. Hopefully the weather cooperates and we can still be in North Goodrich Park in the community house. So cross your fingers. It looks like only a 10% chance of rain at this point, and 80 degrees. So it'll be warm at least.
It's been warm.
Where am I going?
The morning. Al?
Nothing major to update beyond my regular weekly updates. Scott and Inga kind of took my two, so kudos to you guys on that. But things just keep moving along. Every time I think they're going to slow down, they don't.
That's good. We want to move it.
It's good.
We'll keep moving.
Things are good.
Tomorrow I will be in Madison with the League of Municipalities, and we have our lobby day, and we also have a meeting with the governor, so I will tell him hello from all of us. I'll tell Tony hi. And so we'll be promoting our agenda, which all of you have seen in different emails or in the League of Municipalities magazine. And so I'll let you know next time how that goes, or on Thursday. I hope to see all of you on Thursday, and we'll have a good rest of the week. Anything else for anybody? No? It's all you, Jerry. It's all you.
Well, I guess since summer's coming tomorrow, hopefully, well, how about everyone's favorite summer drink of choice? We'll do that. Mine's do a summer shandy with a lime in it. That's good. Those are always.
Homemade sweet tea.
I was gonna say unsweetened iced tea. Although good southern sweet tea is good too.
I enjoy summer shandies as well. I've been enjoying them for a couple weeks now.
Gin and tonic.
Ice water with a lot of ice.
Bacardi and Coke. So.
Pina colada.
I should, in moderation.
No, I prefer mine in a glass, but
Okay.
let's see. Let's see. Well, any beer that's cold. All right.
Grain belt up north.
I guess I'll go for a margarita.
You know, vodka and homemade lemonade. Yeah.
Fuzzy navel. peach schnapps and orange juice.
So nobody has a favorite shot, I guess. Thank God. Okay, we got everybody, right?
I didn't go.
Oh,
I don't. I gotta say, I don't particularly have.
Ashley, we have.
oh yeah.
You know, I like Diet Coke from McDonald's. Diet Dr. Pepper from Quick Trip out of the fountain. Yeah, but that 365 days a year. I don't restrict myself to just summer. Pink lemonade, I guess. I don't know. I drink a lot of like Crystal Light in the summertime. I don't know. I'm lame, I guess.
It's better than ice water. So cool.
Yeah, it is. You know what? You're right. It is better than ice water.
No, because
Large water, extra ice, please.
ice water, if you got some fruit to throw in that ice water, it's always good.
She has a shot of vodka in that. Who do you think she's fooling? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Ice cold ice water.
Maxine always used to come with her little container that she would never let anybody look in or smell.
Yeah.
There's a little trick. Ethel and I every summer go to a place called Chautauqua in New York, and it's a real neat place. But it started off in the 1800s as a training camp for Sunday school teachers, and so the whole town's full of little Victorian homes and things like that. But the story goes that alcohol was not allowed, so people drank Chautauqua tea. So anything you put in a teacup was okay. And people put a lot of things in teacups. So if I see all of you on your porches with a teacup, we'll know what's going on.
Next week it won't be a challenge coin. It'll be a teacup. Everybody gets at council. With a saucer. Not as expensive as the whatever they are. The glass. I can't think of what they're called now.
Glass of water.
What you put a glass on?
Coaster?
Coaster.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I am turning 51 this year. Give me a break.
And Ashley, do you have a favorite?
She's flexible that way. Nice. Okay, good job, Jerry. Do you want to nominate the next team builder? It's not going to get us out of here at 6:29. Is there a motion to adjourn? Our next meeting is June 4th.
One of the most complex team building thing we can possibly do.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed?
We recommend that it's no more than 10 minutes.
No more than 10 minutes. That would have to be in a council policy.
And I'm going to be singing.